That is India's position. Pakistan sponsors terror and it will have to suffer the consequences. And while India sends this message to the world, someone else is trying to steal the mic. I'm talking about US President Donald Trump. India and Pakistan decided on a ceasefire, but the announcement came from Donald Trump. And since then, he's been telling a lie, repeating it on loop, that he stopped this conflict.
On Saturday, my administration helped broker a full and immediate ceasefire, I think a permanent one, between India and Pakistan, ending a dangerous conflict of two nations with lots of nuclear weapons. Just days ago, my administration successfully brokered a historic ceasefire to stop the escalating violence between India and Pakistan, and I used trade to a large extent to do it. I don't want to say I did, but I sure as hell helped settle the problem between Pakistan and India last week, which was getting more and more hostile.
Well, Trump said it again yesterday to the South African president that he mediated the ceasefire.
Doing a big deal with India, we're doing a big deal with Pakistan, and I said, what are you guys doing? You know, somebody had to be the last one to shoot, but the shooting was getting worse and worse, bigger and bigger, deeper and deeper into the countries, and we spoke to them, and I think I hate to say we got it settled, and then 2 days later, something happens, and they say it's Trump's fault, but Pakistan has got some excellent people and some really good, great leader. And India is my friend, Modi. And he's a
mutual friend.
Yeah, he's a great guy. And I called them both, and we just did something good.
Yes, he's still not giving up. India has fact-checked him on more than one occasion, but Trump won't let it go. It's like a broken record. Today, India's External Affairs Minister debunked Donald Trump's statements. S. Jaishankar is visiting Europe. Earlier this week, he was in the Netherlands. He was asked about US involvement in the ceasefire, and Jaishankar had just one thing to say. The US was in the United States, meaning Washington had no role to play. And it's something that India has been saying from day one. India hit terror camps in Pakistan on May 7th. Pakistan hit back. That's when India struck their military bases. A humble Pakistan sued for peace. On May 10th, their army sent a message to India. They were ready to stop firing, and New Delhi responded accordingly. That is the story. That is how the ceasefire came about. The US was informed, as were many other countries. None of them is claiming credit. But Donald Trump wants to be the hero in the story. India won't have it. There is no room for the US in this conversation. The Kashmir issue is bilateral. Operation Sindoor was not about Kashmir. It was about Pakistani terrorism. India will not tolerate it. And when it comes to national security, India will write its own script. No one, not even Donald Trump, gets to edit the ending. Now let's talk about the India-US trade deal. The clock is ticking. Both sides are racing against time. Trump had set a deadline, the 8th of July. If the deal is not done by then, a new round of tariffs would kick in. And the US president has some bold expectations. He wants a deal with zero tariffs.
It's very hard to sell into India. And they've offered us a deal where basically they're willing to literally charge us no tariff.
India has not committed to anything like that, but it remains engaged with the Trump administration. Earlier this week, Piyush Goyal was in Washington, D.C. He is India's commerce minister. He's the one who has been negotiating with Trump's team, and he met them again this week. So what came out of it? Are we close to a deal? As things stand, both sides are pushing for an interim agreement, something they can sign before the 8th of July. That is the priority right now. Negotiations are underway on several fronts: goods, services, and digital trade. India is open to discussing non-trade barriers as well. But it expects concessions in return. And on this front, New Delhi's priorities are clear. It wants to protect the labor-intensive sectors, industries like textile and leather. India is seeking concessions for them. It also wants to secure some sensitive sectors like agriculture and dairy. For these, India could push for a quota or a minimum support price. The best case scenario would be a zero tariff trade regime. But there's a roadblock. The Trump administration cannot unilaterally bring down tariffs. For that, it needs approval from the US Congress. That is the American Parliament. They must approve. And that would take time. If this deal goes to the US Congress, it won't be signed anytime soon. So India wants to keep it simple. India's ask from the Trump administration is this: just remove the 26% additional tariffs, the ones that Trump imposed in April. Remove them. That's the ask. An interim deal, no congressional approval, and no delays. Just a fast and focused agreement that gets both sides across the finish line quickly. Because both India and the US want to win. So this should not be a tough sell. And yet it's not done till it's done. So we should prepare for all scenarios. What if the deal does not happen? What if they do not meet the deadline? What happens then? The prospect should not worry India too much. That is the assessment of ratings agency Moody's. They have released a new report. It says India is better placed than most emerging economies. Trump's tariffs may slow down growth, but the Indian economy should be able to absorb the shock. India has a strong domestic market. It has a low dependence on exports and robust growth driven by internal factors. In fact, Moody's says even if the US imposes tariffs, India won't suffer significant economic damage. That should be encouraging. At the same time, resilience cannot be an excuse for stagnation. India does not want to just survive this. It wants to expand its trade. And for that, it is looking beyond the United States. India is negotiating with a wide range of countries. Some deals have already been signed. India has deals with more than 10 countries in blocs, including Japan, South Korea, the UAE, and Australia. Recently, we sealed an agreement, a trade deal with the UK. New Delhi will cut tariffs on 90% of British goods. In return, 99% of India's exports to the UK will face no duties. Similarly, talks are on with the European Union, New Zealand, Oman, and Israel. So India has not put all its eggs in the American basket. It is building a network, a shield against Trump's uncertainty. If the US agreement comes through, it will be a boost. If it doesn't, India is building options.